You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm trying to follow more Giants fans over on Twitter because I want to talk ball with you guys during the offseason. Give me a follow. I'll give you a follow back. Just DM me G-Men so I know you came from this video. We have a bunch to talk about in today's show. Is Julian Love going to leave in NFL free agency? The rumors are heating up. We'll talk about that. Shea Tierney, the QB coach for the Giants, he's getting interviews to be offensive coordinators somewhere else in the NFC, but the biggest story of the day is this one. The Colts are scheduling Giants defensive coordinator Wink Martindale to come to Indianapolis this weekend for a second head coaching interview. This sucks. Losing Wink would hurt so much to this football team. What Wink Martindale was able to do after taking over the Patrick Graham-led defense the 2 prior years to this year, I think the results spoke for themselves. He was the best defensive coordinator the Giants have had since the Super Bowls with Steve Spagnuolo. What Martindale was able to do with limited talent, if you think about it, on this defense. Their cornerback one for most of the season was Fabian Moreau. Their linebackers were Jalen Smith, Landon Collins. I love Landon Collins. He's not that guy anymore. Xavier McKinney, hurt for 6, 7, 8 weeks. Jason Pinnock stepped into that spot. Wink Martindale was able to turn around and instill a culture into this Giants defense like we haven't seen in so long. I am so proud of the way Wink Martindale coached this year and that unit played, but I cannot imagine any more life without Wink Martindale. What he did in that Minnesota game was epic. I don't want to talk about the Eagles game. That didn't go too well. But losing Wink Martindale would absolutely hurt because you have an offensive head coach in Brian Daboll. Wink's pretty much the assistant head coach. He just manages everything on the defensive side. I love the way that works out, and hopefully it stays. In Jordan Renard of ESPN posed a way that it could stay where Daboll and Martindale remain as that offensive defensive type coach. He said, my understanding is there are scenarios for Wink Martindale to remain with the Giants despite Colts' interest. He said, with no cap for coaches, paying him like a head coach could keep him in New York. He's a critical part of what they're building, plus the players love him, an opportunity to keep him in the building. I 100% agree with Jordan. The Giants should pay Wink Martindale whatever dollar amount he wants. They should give him a blank check because like he said, it doesn't matter how much you pay the coaches because if I pay the coach $10 million, there's no residual effects on this football team. I can't sign less players because I pay my defensive coordinator so much money. You have one of the best, if not a top 5 defensive coordinator in Wink Martindale. Pay him the money to keep him around so the Giants can keep that continuity and build off of what they had last year on the defensive side of the ball. Whatever it costs, blank check, give it to Wink Martindale, keep him in-house. Giants are a much better team with Wink, and I don't want to see him coaching for the Indianapolis Colts. It's going to come down, I think, to Martindale and Jeff Saturday for that job. Hopefully it's Jeff Saturday and not Wink Martindale. But let's show Martindale some love. He was great this year for the Giants. He was able to turn around a group that kind of struggled a little bit the past couple of years. I would say I love the aggressive nature in which he coaches in. I love the passion he has for this football team. He said New York is the best city in the world, and the Giants are the best fans. I love that. Let's show him some love. Type his name, Wink, good old Winky, in the comments section down below. We'll get to the rest of the rumors on Shea Tierney and Julian Love coming up in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Athletic Greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports to get hooked up today. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health, which is something that I need. I start the day with making one great choice, AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. More coaching rumors for the New York Football Giants. Mike Garafolo put this out today. He said Giants quarterback coach Shea Tierney will interview with the Buccaneers for their vacant offensive coordinator position. Tierney has worked closely with head coach Brian Daboll with Alabama, the Bills, and New York Giants. The development of Daniel Jones this past season has been noticed around the league. This is what happens when you're good. Like, it's a good problem to have, but I hate having this problem. I want to keep Kafka. I want to keep Martindale. I want to keep Shea Tierney. But at the end of the day, when you're a good football team and you have one of the best coaches in the NFL in Brian Daboll, and he's going to build an all-star staff like he did, people are going to come poaching and trying to take your coaches and say, if he could make that work in New York, well, he can make that work with us. And I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just displaying what the truth is. Losing Shea Tierney would suck. And I'm going to tell you what this might mean for Daniel Jones in a second. But if Shea Tierney does get that job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think I might know who the new quarterback coach for the New York Giants is. Davis Webb. Yeah, that Davis Webb. The one that played in Week 18 against the Eagles for the New York Football Giants. Adam Schefter a couple of days ago said Giants backup quarterback Davis Webb, who was offered Buffalo's QB coach job last offseason, has expressed interest in starting the transition from player to coach. After securing his first NFL start this season, Webb will consider making the jump to coaching for the right opportunity. I truly believe if Shea Tierney is not going to be the Giants quarterback coach anymore because he goes to Tampa Bay and he becomes their offensive coordinator, it would be a seamless transition for Davis Webb to go from practice squad quarterback and backup quarterback to the quarterback's coach for New York. Like Schefter said, he had the Buffalo QB job in his pocket last year. Brian Daboll just convinced him to come play for the New York Giants. Supposedly, Daboll and Webb have a really good relationship, and I could see that continuing to build as he becomes potentially the quarterback coach for Big Blue. We also have some news on Mike Kafka. He is getting that second interview with the Houston Texans, but it sounds like he may not be getting that job. He also had an interview with the Panthers. They hired their head coach in Frank Wright. And he also had an interview with the Indianapolis Colts. That search is going on. But on the Texans search, reports are coming out today that DeMeco Ryans, the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, has emerged as the favorite to land the head coach job for the Houston Texans, which means Mike Kafka's most likely back. But this still stinks for Danny Dimes. I feel bad for Danny Dimes, because think about this when he came into the league. Pat Shurmur was his offensive coordinator and head coach. Then he had Joe Judge as his head coach, but Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator. And they fired Jason Garrett, and they made Freddie Kitchens the offensive coordinator. Then it was Mike Kafka. That's 4 offensive coordinators in 4 seasons for Daniel Jones, meaning if Kafka's gone, which it might happen to the Colts, that means he'd be on his 5th offensive coordinator in 5 football seasons. That's rough for a young quarterback, especially one that was finally starting to gain some traction and some footing and being able to show that he can be a winning quarterback in the NFL. Feel bad for Daniel Jones. I know he's going to be back. They're going to get the contract done. I just wish he could have some continuity at the offensive coordinator spot. But that is why I was such a big proponent of hiring an offensive-minded head coach last offseason. Because if you hire a defensive-minded head coach, you're always going to have a cycle of offensive coordinators coming in and coming out. Meaning, just like Kafka. For instance, let's say the Giants last year hired, just for shits and gigs, DeMeco Ryans, right? He was their head coach, and they had Mike Kafka as their offensive coordinator. He's already in head coach interviews after one good season. My point is, when you have a good head coach that's an offensive mind, you can still have some stability, even though there's a revolving door at the offensive coordinator position. Where if it's the defensive coordinator or your head coach is the defensive guy, it's just going to continue to change at that offensive spot. I don't know if that all made sense. It made sense in my head. I hope you guys understood it. I do know this, though. If any more news and rumors come out about Kafka, Martindale, Shea Tierney, or anybody on the Giants the rest of the offseason, we got you covered here on the channel. Giants rumors, Giants news, Giants videos every single day. We go live every single Monday now on the channel. So lock us in, hit that sub button, turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. From coaches to players, we'll focus a little bit on Julian Love, the do-it-all safety for the New York Football Giants. Julian Love, after an excellent season this year for Big Blue, is set to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. He spoke to the media last week. He said he'd love to be back, but he has to do what's best for him. And that's smart. That's what football players should do. You don't have that long of a career. Capitalize financially while you can. But Pro Football Focus put out an article highlighting one free agent that every team cannot afford to let walk. And for the Giants, it wasn't Daniel Jones, it wasn't Saquon Barkley, it was Julian Love. They said not quarterback Daniel Jones, not running back Saquon Barkley, but do everything defensive back Julian Love is our answer here. Love earned a career high 71.5 coverage grade in 2022 and lined up everywhere with 271 snaps down in the box, 154 in the slot, 494 at free safety. He's a Swiss Army knife on the back end who rarely misses a tackle. Among 43 safeties with at least 150 tackles over the past 3 seasons, Love's 13 missed tackles are the second fewest. Losing Julian Love would absolutely suck. Love is a do-it-all player for Big Blue, and I thought that quote showed it perfectly. He can line up as the free safety. He can play a little strong safety. He can come into the box. He can play a little slot corner. He can play a little outside corner if you have to as well. He could do it all, and he had an excellent season when you look at what he did. You think it's some of the biggest plays of this Giants season, like the game-sealing pick against the Baltimore Ravens. Who was that? Who was that guy? Number 20, Julian Love. When you look at what he did this season, it's truly remarkable. 124 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, 6 tackles for loss. He had a sack. Whatever he has to do, he'll do it. Joe Judge used to call him duct tape because he could do everything at any spot and fix anything. You got to bring a guy like Julian Love back. Re-signing Love is a must. When you're a team like the Giants, who have been, to be bluntly, one of the worst teams in the NFL prior to this year, dating back to their last Super Bowl run, and those players that built the foundation, that built the culture, that build up the team chemistry, when their contracts come up, you got to reward those guys. You got to keep them in the building to continue to build stepping stones and walking blocks to get better. That's what the Giants want to do, and that's what Joe Schoen has talked about. He said he prefers signing his own players rather than going out in free agency because he knows the players that are in the building. The Giants know Julian Love's smart, tough, and dependable. Those are the 3 key words that Dable and Joe Schoen always use. That's what Julian Love is. You got to bring him back. I want him back. I know you probably want him back too. If you don't, you could tell me you don't in the comments section. But if you do, if you want the Giants to re-sign Julian Love in the comments, let's light the comment section up. Type those 20s, his jersey number, down below. Better see a whole bunch of 20s because this team's way better with Julian Love on it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's video here on Giants Now by Chat Sports. We got a video tomorrow coming out. We got a video on Sunday. We got a video every day of the offseason coming for you. That's why you subscribe. Another way you can stay up to date on Giants news and rumors is by giving me a follow over on Twitter @MarshallGreen_.